What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special episode of Game Time Live, 10:30 at night. This is a little. Daryl's usually up. Daryl, you text me at like 11 o'clock. I'm not even gonna say it's early for you at this point. You're used to being up at this point, so I'm not even gonna put it against you. Good to have you in the building. We haven't been able to do as many weekly shows as we used to, but it's good to get some weekly shows here in there. We're actually going to be adding a new show to the Game Time lineup here in a couple maybe days, maybe another week or so. We're getting the graphics made for that, but we won't bring it up too much here in this episode. It's going to be a good one today. We are going to talk NBA trade deadline, but before we get into it, I want to give a big thank you to Matt Gaddis, our local State Farm agent here in Indianapolis, Indiana. I also want to give a shout out to Wire to the Nines. If you need any low voltage help, make sure to contact Wire to the Nines at yahoo.com. And then obviously we want to give a shout out to Bigsy's, our final sponsor here at the Game Time Network. If you need any good food and some good times, go over to Bigsy's on Brookville Road. Daryl, it started off, people were calling Shams into question about his legitimacy as a newsbreaker throughout this deadline. And then we got to a Tuesday afternoon where Jaren Jackson Jr. was traded to the Utah Jazz, and it set off the fire that we were all waiting for this trade deadline. And it wasn't as explosive as last year, right? Luka going to the Lakers, the 3-team trade with the Kings and the Bulls and all that going on. The year before that, Kevin Durant getting traded to Phoenix. Not as crazy as the last couple of years, but this was still a very interesting trade deadline because, as you said when we talked on the phone, this trade deadline feels like a setup, a part one to a sequel film come the summertime.
Yeah, I agree 100%. We talked about this a little bit, these pre-trade cursors, right? Moving cap money around, taking on expiring contracts, giving it one more shot for that big opportunity for the chip, right? Seeing what Cleveland did, bringing on Harden, seeing what Atlanta Hawks did, right? Seeing what your Washington Wizards did, bringing in AD. And I know a lot of people want to laugh about that, but I want to start off with the man himself, the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? All we talked about, remember almost every trade talk conversation we started with Giannis, especially when he says, I'm willing to get traded. Everybody's getting excited. It's going to be Golden State with Kuminga and Draymond and 4 number ones. And wait, maybe the Lakers have something in the tank for him. Maybe Atlanta has something. And then today we get the message. Giannis says, hold my beer. I'm not going anywhere just yet. I haven't made that decision. And then on top of that, he did the little curse word thing, says, I'm not going anywhere or something like that. I believe that this is the destination for the summer. I believe that the Golden State Warriors bringing in Kristaps Porzingis, I think he has an expiring contract, and I think it was a 1-year deal with a player, maybe with a team option for the second, and I see it as the gateway to the Golden State Warriors. They got Kuminga gone, they've got Buddy Hield gone, they got that salary out of there, and now they're in a place come summertime. They shedded Dale Davis Jr., aka Trace Jackson Davis, right? So maybe this is an opportunity for Golden State to reset and take one more shot to help Steph get his 5th ring. So that's my thinking on that. What do you think about that, man?
When I look at the Giannis situation, I think and I read a report. I'm getting up all my reports pulled up and everything else as we get going here. From what my understanding is that the Knicks were his main destination. He really wanted to be in New York. And then there was another team, I think it was Golden State, and then he's going to keep the Lakers in mind as we get to the offseason. I think the big thing for Giannis, and we talked about it over the phone, and I was very adamant about it. I'm frustrated with this whole Giannis situation because you look at all the other players in the league, right? When Kevin Durant requests a trade, what is the tweet? Kevin Durant has requested a trade from so-and-so. when James Harden requests a trade. James Harden has requested a trade for so-and-so. When Shams put out that tweet about Giannis, it didn't say that. It said Giannis is ready to find a new home. That isn't Giannis requested a trade. That's just Giannis maybe, okay, I would like to be gone. Not Milwaukee, thank you for everything you've done for me. I'd like to be done. For me, if you want to request a trade, request a trade. Don't do all this. And then 2 days after Shams puts out this tweet, he puts out a quote to Ramona Shelburne, and he says, "Oh, well, if I had to pick, I want to end my career in Milwaukee." Like, dude, pick a side. Are you going to stick with Milwaukee and let them figure out how to build this team around you now? Or do you want to go? Because it affected everything around the deadline. Everybody was, why did the Warriors wait so long to get Porzingis? Because they were waiting on Giannis. Why did the Timberwolves not originally go to the Bulls and get Kobe White or DeSamu? They were waiting on Giannis. Everything was affected by this Giannis domino, and come to find out, they 15 minutes before the deadline was over, I want to stay and try to make a playoff.
What do you think about this? Is this a situation where Giannis is playing both sides against the middle? He wants to be the good guy, right? He wants to be the innocent with the Greek accent. Oh, I'm being attacked by everyone, right? And I think that's what he's placating to. He's afraid to be the villain. We can talk. The others can talk about KD and Harden, but they're not afraid to be the villain. They're asking and they're putting it out there, right? And I think this guy, it shows to me a sensitivity. This is 2026. You got to throw that out the window, man. You can take your sensitivities away. It started when the Pacers knocked the snot out of them 3 years ago, and the Pacers got that winning ball that's in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Then they go in and lose to the Pacers in 2 back-to-back playoff runs, right? Then the injuries come apart. Then you got Dame getting hurt. All these things have happened on Giannis's watch. He signed off on Dame. He signed off on Turner. He signed off on Middleton leaving, on Middleton being traded. So now, Mr. Giannis, it's on you. Oh, you also signed off on a coach that was 30-13 to be fired to bring in Doc Rivers. So you helped all of this. So sometimes you need to see your own so-and-so and mull in it a little bit. So I don't have any sympathy for Giannis Antetokounmpo, whatever the hell it is, Giannis, Greek freak. But with that said, I think he's going to leave in the summer. I absolutely think he's going to be gone in the summer. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to get a king's ransom for him. I still don't think that he'll have the success that he had in that championship season in Milwaukee where they played against the Phoenix Suns. That's my thought on Giannis. Not a big fan because I don't like the fake innocence.
Yeah.
And plus also he has some bad things to say about my guy down there in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So I'll get to that in a little bit. But so not a fan.
I'm glad he didn't get moved. And I hoped he would go to Miami, if all places, because he'd still be stuck in Miami. I think it'd be interesting in Miami. And we're going to get into Miami too, because I've got a lot I want to say about that failure of an organization as well. But I'm glad Giannis is still in Milwaukee, because I think with the way the East is shaping up, it's going to be harder for Milwaukee to get into the playoffs next year with all these teams making moves and stuff like that. The Hornets on a 7-game win streak. I'm excited to see what Milwaukee can do in the summer because they've made some moves. I'm moving Cole Anthony. They made a move at the deadline, and they're making moves to where they're going to try and get something going here. You paid Miles Turner that money that hasn't worked out too well. But I think, as much as we've crapped on Miles Turner on this show, I think
crapped on Miles Turner.
We've all jumped in on Turner at one point throughout this season. I think for Turner, Giannis, and this whole team this summer, there needs to be a serious sit down, and it's Giannis, are you serious about staying? Yes, I'm serious about staying. There needs to be a team-wide initiative or just something to where it's okay. Giannis is for real. He's going to stay. You take all the rumors out of this, so then maybe you get some form of Miles Turner from Indiana out of this, or you don't. I mean, but you got to get something out of this Turner deal, whether you move him or what this summer. Something's got to happen to where this team
be tough, man.
Gets it figured out. But I'm happy to see Giannis not moved. I think he's been talking and talking, and He won't commit to actually wanting out, and that's fine. But stop doing this back and forth, right? If I wanted out of the show, I would say, hey, I want to be done.
You got to be bought out your contract, though. You got a 5-year deal here, man.
I wouldn't sit here and say, well, I really like the show, but I'm maybe ready for a new home, but I just like the show. So no, do you want out or do you not? Like that?
Yeah.
It's like leaving a job.
Make a decision.
Make a decision. That's all. Yeah. That's all I want. But Daryl, let's move away from Giannis. I want to start before we get into the trades. I want to start with winners and losers, and maybe even a little bit of shockers as well. What shocked you? Who'd you find as a winner? Who'd you find as a loser? I'll let you go ahead and start while I grab something.
Okay, I'll just start off with the loser piece, right? And I know we've had a lot of conversation about this team. I think the Wizards lost. I think the Wizards got a deficient Trae Young, who's a limited player on the defensive end. He's 6 foot, 170 pounds. You also get Davis, who's not Anthony Davis, who's not going to play this season, who continues to go on and be hurt. And then on top of that, he's got about $60 million for the next 2 years apiece coming to that's owed to him. I think they gave up a lot of young players. There's no thinking. They gave up a lot of young players. I take that back. Davis has 58-4 and 62 for the next 2 years. So I think that team was a loser. And the reason why I think they were losers is because you got veteran guys. You gave up a lot of young talent. Yeah, Chris Middleton still struggles getting up and down the court because of those injuries he had. But you got guys who've proven that they can't stay on the court. Davis is a very, very, very good player. My issue with Davis is this. It's almost like the Derek McKee syndrome. Davis, while he's a hell of a player and all those things, in the summertime, Davis is rehabbing. Davis is not getting better in the summertime. His summer is spent rehabbing, trying to work himself back from injury. And then all of a sudden the season starts. He starts off pretty good, and then bang, here comes another injury. And I just believe that he has no ability to stay healthy for these next 2 years because he's not going to play this year. They talked about him maybe playing in the playoffs. Well, the Wizards aren't going to make the playoffs. So you're talking about 2 years. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I was muted. Are you talking about the biggest winners of the trade deadline, the Washington Wizards?
Well, I started with losers. I'll give you your opportunity because I know you're opposite. And this isn't this isn't the 4-letter network where we agree to disagree. But with that said, I like Davis. I really do. Yeah. I just don't think he can stay healthy. The Wizards had a lot of cap space going into the summer. They just spent it. And now you went all in on that. I believe that the Wizards, for me, are the biggest losers. I think the Kings lost a little bit because they didn't do anything. They got an older team that's not good. It's one thing being a younger team and not being good, but they're an older team and not very good. That's tough. And I know we're going to get into the Clippers and the Pacers, kind of a by itself deal. But those are the two teams that stick out to me off the top. That were losers. Winner, Timberwolves, Celtics. I like what the Timberwolves did. Remember, I've talked to you about Dillingham, right?
Yeah.
I've been on him. I think the Celtics did a good job, and I think overall the Clippers shed some salaries as well to put themselves in a position maybe to be a player in the summertime. In the summer as it comes, potentially.
So I have multiple winners, right? And the Wizards are a winner. They're not losers, all right? They've been losers for since the franchise's involvement in the NBA, right? The Wizards have always been losers. I get it, right?
No,
but listen, when you look at the Wizards, and I talked about this with Daryl over the phone. We even talked about it over text. When you look at what the Wizards have done, right? You have to appreciate it just a little bit for what the Wizards are at least trying to do, right? Trying. When you're growing up as a kid and you're participating in sports and you like this sport and you don't like this, you're just trying, right?
Right.
These poor Wizards have been the doormat of they're not as bad as those horrible Brooklyn Nets. Let's not be, there's bad and then there's real bad. Like There's Vanderbilt bad, and that's the Brooklyn Nets, and then there's middle of the road bad, and that's the Washington Wizards, because they almost had it with John Wall, but the injuries, right? They're on a great course here, and I like what they did. You bring in Trae Young, who, like I said when the trade happened, you look at it at face value, that's a 20-point per game scorer any given night. You look at Anthony Davis, and I agree with Daryl on this. This is more concerning than, I think this is the more nerve-wracking trade than the Trae Young trade. You gave up nothing for Trae Young. He's on an expiring deal. I'm not really worried about Trae Young. The AD is more concerning, but you've got Sarr, you've got Coulibaly, you've got Trey Johnson. They've got a lot of young guys that are ready to take leaps. So for me, if AD does not play much next year, you don't need him to play much next year. If he's in more of a Joel Embiid role next year, I think that's fine for the Wizards. When you've got young, you're going to have offensive talent. You just need AD to get when you get to the playoffs, because defensively, this team is exactly what I said you need to do for Trae Young. Tall, lanky, athletic guys to mask Trae Young. Bub Carrington, he's one of my favorite young guys. This Washington team has potential, and I'm not going to say anything crazy. I'm not going to say top 5 in the East or nothing like that.
You're not going to do that? You sure?
No. What I think Washington is capable of is a play-in spot to knock out Chicago, to knock out Atlanta, to knock out Miami, right? Chicago's probably not going to make it next year anyways, because they blew it up entirely. But right. I think Washington is a winner, because when you look at the contracts and the structures of these deals, if they are not satisfied with AD or Trae Young, you're going to get rid of them for no cost, because your young core is still intact regardless of if this Trae Young, Anthony Davis thing works out. So I wouldn't call them losers in this sense, because you can pay Trae Young and you can pay Anthony Davis, and if they don't work out, you move them, you salary dump them at some point, and guess what? You still got Sarr, you still got Coulibaly, you still got Bub, you still got all your young guys, and at some point you're going to pay them, and hopefully 2 of them, 3 of them work out, and they're somewhat all-stars. Sarr's going to be an all-star next year. Mark my words. I'll say that.
Potentially. Yeah, potentially. No, I'm with you on that. I like Sarr as well. The challenge is, right, you say moving these guys, no one's going to take those salaries on for broken down players. And the reason why the Washington Wizards did it, because they're not a destination for free agents. They knew that $80 million that they had coming in the summer was just like having rocks in your pocket. Yes. No one's coming. And listen, a lot of teams are, 27 teams are over the cap. So everybody's over the cap, right? So no one's going to say, oh my goodness, I can't wait to go play for the Wizards. So they had to do that. And that's why that $80 million that they had looking into the summer is gone now. Yeah. So Davis has to play, and he can't be an Embiid guy. You can't be Embiid at $55 million a year. Right? Because he doesn't have the history with the Washington Wizards that Embiid does with the Philadelphia 76ers.
And I think what we're also seeing is the second apron taking into effect too. And I think what's his name? Or you just put it up. Sorry, and I took it off. I think Eli makes a good point. The Wizards would never get younger AD in free agency. I think with the second apron, we could see something of the sorts happen. Maybe not this year, but I think with the second apron, it could change some things up. It already changed up the deadline this year, right? Trae Young to Washington, even though that was the only team salary-wise that could make it happen, they did it. AD to Washington, Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah. We didn't think that. We thought he was going to New York. So the second apron's already making things more difficult on teams to do, other than the Thunder. They went and got McCain, and I think that's one of my other winners is the Thunder, but I'll get into that later. Overall, Daryl, I really like what the Wizards did. I still really view both trades as a really low risk thing to do, because you can pay AD and you can pay Trae Young while you still have your young guys on these rookie deals, and at some point you'll move them. Now, whether you waive them or you salary dump them in a trade, we won't know that for another couple of years. But it's one of the two, right? It's a trade, or they get waived or something, or they play out their whole contract. Let
me ask you this though, right? So or a statement. With Trae Young, this is his walk year. He's got a player option this summer. I think maybe come summer we make a definitive statement about what the Washington Wizards this trade deadline was. Because if Trae Young doesn't sign, he's free to walk.
Yes.
Now all of a sudden, remember, you traded out your young guard to Dallas, and Trae Young leaves. No, yeah, Bud is still there. You got younger players there, but that takes a hit on you, right?
Yeah.
That takes a big hit on you. And now you got Anthony Davis as your lone big-time veteran who's going to probably give you 55 games next year.
And honestly, and this may sound crazy. I think, if you can get them to 55 games, that's fine. In this Eastern Conference, I mean, look, the East is getting stronger. The East is going to be a lot stronger next year. Probably the strongest it's been since probably 2019, 2020. So AD playing 55 games may not be as beneficial as I think it would be right now. But I agree with Eli on the fact that I like that they took this chance. I think they have an opportunity to be pretty good next year. I'm not saying top 5 in the East. I'm saying at minimum, if this is not a play-in team next year, it's a failure. If they get to the play-in, it's a step. I'm not saying it's a success. I'm just saying if you can get to the play-in and you nab the 7th seed or the 8th seed, that would be a minor applause in my opinion. Because look for the
Wizards, because they've stunk for the last 35 years. You're right.
Yes.
I'll give you that. It's been a long time, man. So if they get into the play-in, and granted, they were in the playoffs, I know, back in 2017 or 16.
2010s, in the 2010s,
although I'm sorry, it was 14 because they lost to the Pacers in the playoffs. But to that point, that was what, 12 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
it's been
a
while.
They even sniffed anything, right? And prior to that, they've been bad. They've been an embarrassment. So them getting into play-in next year would be the goal, right?
Yeah.
But I think it starts with you re-signing and trade. I know that Reggie said that, I'm sure they agreed upon it. But what if another team comes and says, we got that money for you too, Trey?
And I think that Trey will resign. If he doesn't, okay. And once again, it goes back to my point. Wizards didn't lose nothing when they traded for Trae Young. It sucks if he doesn't stay, but you're not losing anything. But if you're trading,
you eliminate some cap space.
If you're trading for Anthony Davis, there's got to be something. It has to be Trae Young is staying. Like, obviously, I could be wrong, but I'm saying like 80% confident. Like, if you're trading for Anthony Davis and you're essentially pairing him with Sarr and Trae Young, I'm taking a pretty huge game. I'm probably guaranteeing that Trae Young is probably resigning, but I could be completely wrong.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't think that's a stretch. But it can't happen. I mean, we saw what Carlos Boozer did to the Cleveland Cavaliers back when he was playing with Cleveland, and he took that money in Utah. He told him, yes, I'm going to sign. And he flipped and he went to Utah. So there's no foregone conclusion that Trae Young is going to sign just because he said he is. Until the ink is dry, we'll see, right?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the East right now as it stands. And you look, Wizards are down here, right? They're going to be better than the Nets. I think they could be better than the Bucks.
Eli's crazy as hell. Top 5, you out of your mind, Eli. I love you to death, Eli.
Man, look, and that's why I've stated on the show. I'm like, I have not said anything about the Wizards being top 5 because somebody said they're going to be top 3 in the East, and
that's my boy. Hey, my boy is Eli. Hey, he's always money, but Eli, you got your pennies tonight, buddy.
Me and Eli think on the same wavelength. We're going to get to the Zubac trade here in a second. We're trying to go in order. I just want to bring this up real quick. Like, when I look at the Wizards, right, they'll be better than the Nets. They'll be better than the Bucks. I believe they'll be better than the Bucks, depending on what they do in the offseason. But we're talking about the here and now. They'll be better than the Bulls. Them and the Hornets could be pretty close because look at the Hornets are on an 8-game win streak. They may be better next year. They
got a lot of guards in the backcourt, man.
They're gaining. Right now, they could be better than the Hawks. They will be better than the Heat. They may be better than the Magic. And then Philadelphia is so up and down.
You doubting the Heat? You doubting Pat Riley?
I've got
the Godfather.
I've got something for him later on in the show.
Okay.
One of my other winners, and it's the reason I switched on to this jersey. And I'm gonna hold my LeBron Funko Pop when I say this. The Lakers are winners because I said it a couple weeks ago. I said it would be best for the Lakers if they didn't make a move at the deadline. Because whatever you did at the deadline wasn't going to fix this team right here, right now. I do like that we got rid of Gabe Vincent and got Luke Kennard. It doesn't make us any better, but you got rid of a huge problem. By the way, Luke Kennard is, I think, second in 3-point percentage this season. So, I mean, it's not a bad pickup, but you needed 3-and-D, so it's not fixing your chances at winning the title. You're still worse than Houston, worse than a couple other teams. But Daryl, this man right here, holding up $56 million. They put it out today. The Lakers will have the most salary they'll have the most salary cap heading into this offseason. So that's
good. You're right.
That is why I am calling them winners, because you didn't need to make a move to try to compete right now, because you're waiting until you get the 41-year-old off your books. So to me, and you got rid of Gabe Vincent, they're winners. You're a winner.
They got Luke Kennard. He's a great 3-point shooter. He's in Milwaukee as well. He's making $11 million. He doesn't have a player option or a team option.
He doesn't have to stay
this summer.
So I mean, but the Lakers have all the room in the world to build a roster around Luka exactly how you want it. You got plenty of pieces to go do what you want. You could even trade Austin Reeves and get some type of decent haul back for him, because he's played great all year.
As we talked about on this show here, there's zero confidence you got in the front office in LA. So I don't know how we went from Rob Pelinka is a joke.
Whoa. I know you do. I still think Pelinka is very lousy as a GM.
Okay.
But all you got to do is go back to 2024 and look at that Dallas roster and say, okay, we just got to find guys that are very similar to these guys, right? That's all you got to do. Don't do nothing else.
Different day and age, different coach.
3-and-D.
The West is better.
Look,
the West is better. It's bigger.
I get it.
Deeper.
And the Mavericks got to the final. All you got to do is when Rob Pelinka walks into his office every day, it needs to be pasted above the door. It needs to say 3-and-D. Nothing else. 3-and-D. That's all you got to do.
So here's the problem with that, though. He's had an opportunity the last 3 years. He hadn't done that. So what would make us think now all of a sudden he's got a little bit more money to play with? In other words, he's got a bigger sandbox. What makes us think he's going to make the right decision in that sandbox?
Look, so before they made the Luka trade, the Lakers were third in the West, third or fourth in the West. I remember because Ramon said they weren't even going to make the playoffs, and I was like, well,
it was about 2 games between 5 teams.
I get it, but we're calling it like it is. They were third or fourth in the West.
Facts over feelings. Don't forget
exactly.
That.
So the Lakers were third in the West, and everybody was talking about this. Once LeBron leaves and AD's not healthy, this Lakers team done. They got saved by this Luka Doncic trade because of the incompetence of the Mavericks. So it's been up and down. You're working through a 41-year-old Bron contract that's holding up $56 million. So in the last 2 to 3 years, you haven't been able to really construct this roster, because the roster you had going into last year, I thought was good enough to get to the Western Conference Finals. And then you traded to get a 26-year-old Luka Doncic. I'm not going to tell you not to, right? So this is a chance this summer for Pelinka to go in and make a move. I don't want to spend too much time on the Lakers because they didn't do anything of significance.
No, it's okay. I mean, Lakers moved the needle, but the thing is, you're talking
But they
about
are one of my winners.
Right.
Because you're going to have a lot of cap space.
Someone's got to say, I'm going there. I just don't know. Is it Giannis? I mean, a guy who needs the ball in his hand as well. Listen, this isn't going to be as easy as some of you all with the purple and gold think. I don't think it's going to be as easy.
No, there's teams that can offer money just as good as the Lakers can. So I'm not sitting here and saying it's going to be a perfect offseason. I'm just saying what you need to do is build the right team around Luka. You know what that roster can be. I think the first thing you got to do is a big man. Now, whether you think that's Ayton or not, that's your decision to make. I personally think you can get better than Ayton, and the man is sitting in Brooklyn right now, and his name is Nicholas Claxton. But that's just me. That's just me personally. But we'll see what they do. We'll see what happens. Reggie's over here trolling me, talking about the Lakers won't win a chip within the next 20 years, but they recently just won one 5 years ago. So I don't know. We'll see.
We don't count that.
Whatever. Sure we don't. It'll be interesting to see what they do. That's one of my winners. One of my other winners in this one is the Utah Jazz. You got Jaren Jackson Jr. And once again, you gave up, in my opinion, didn't really give up that much. And I think this is what this screamed to me out, Daryl, was one, the Jazz are going to try to be competitive next season. Same thing as the Wizards. And secondly, I think this was to free up so Keontae George, the guy that is playing really well in Utah right now, to free him up, let him be the lead point guard for this team because they traded a lot of their guards in that deal. I like what the Jazz did. I am more concerned about the Jazz being successful than I am the Wizards, just because it's the Western Conference.
Right.
Obviously the Wizards, it's more of a health thing. For the Jazz, it's more of a, well, hell, you're in the Western Conference thing. That's my issue with the Jazz. But when I look at it right now, they've got a chance to be better than every team from 7 on down next year. Yes, they could be better than Phoenix. Yes, they could be better than Golden State. They could be better than the Lakers, but I personally just don't think that's going to be the case next season.
That's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this, man. We sat here last year, almost around this time, talking about the great thing that the Lakers did with getting Luka and how this is going to be a nice run. And then all of a sudden, certain things fall in play. A guy gets hurt, then a guy demands a trade, and this thing can be turned upside down like nobody's business. And I think that's we can always prognosticate. We don't know what's going to happen, but we know this every year. And yes, I'm being Nostradamus, right? Every year, something's going to happen that we didn't expect.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about that. We can sit there and play tag. Well, what is it going to be? I don't know what it's going to be, but I know this summer, in the greatest month of the year, June, we're going to have a lot of information found out, which is that draft piece deal, those draft day trades, and then the free agency 2 weeks later after that.
Yep.
So you're talking about a 3-week stretch between June 25th and July the 10th, roughly, where it's going to be a whole lot of movement going, and we're going to find out a whole lot about what's going to happen. And I'm just telling you, don't be surprised if there's a dark horse that comes out of nowhere, grabbing a guy and making another trade, and then all of a sudden, boom, or those ping pong balls, right?
Yeah,
we know, we've seen how that's gone, right? So I just think it's going to be fun. The deadline's over. Granted, I love talking about it. We're going to continue to talk about it, but this is only beginning.
I have 2 more winners. Well, really 3, but my next winner is the Minnesota Timberwolves. You got your point guard. You got Ayo Dosunmu from Chicago. Now, it's not the sexiest signing, right? Kobe White, Cam Thomas. We'll talk about Cam Thomas later. It's not the sexiest one, right? I think we were saying big names. We were saying Ja. We were saying Kobe White last week. We mentioned Dosunmu last week, but that was more of the you get him, he'll be good because he's younger. But I'm counting this as a win because, and I've said it time and time again, I don't care that the Rockets are 4th. I don't care that the Lakers are right behind Minnesota 2 games back. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are just as good as Denver, San Antonio, and OKC. And then after that, there's a gap where the Rockets and Lakers are at. And the Lakers are probably another gap behind the Rockets.
You've been consistent. I give you that. You've been consistent. You said it since end of November. Yeah. And I disagree with you since then, and I disagree with you now.
And that's fine.
I just believe that them getting a point guard, a legitimate guy who's athletic as well too, helped them. I think it absolutely helped them. But I also believe that as the season wears on, the Rudy Gobert, while he's a good defensive player, I think that's a problem for them when the lineups shrink, when you're talking about playing 8 guys, 9 guys versus 10 guys, 11 guys. And I want to see Ant, carry a team throughout. I know they got to the conference finals. I get that. He does a lot of talking. I'm tired of hearing his talk. Mm-hmm. Do it on the court and get yourself past the Western Conference Finals. No excuses.
I agree with you. He's got to get it done. But I've been back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearance, right? And I've said it. I've said it time and time again, right? Ant is one of the greatest of all time, going up against probably the greatest of all time last year against Shea. At the time, Shea was the best player on the court, and he probably still is the best player in the world. But I think Ant is just as good as Shea. Ant is just as good as Luka. Ant's a top 5 player in this league, depending on who you ask. If he's not 5th, he's definitely 6th, in my opinion. So I think Ant's got a potential to get it done, and he's got the roster to get it done this season.
Well, no excuses. Don't want to hear it.
I agree with you, and I think and he's
who we are.
And for Ant, and in my opinion, in these playoff games, in the playoffs against Dallas, the Western Conference with Finals before last year, that was on Ant, and I was very vocal that was on Ant. Last year, I think Ant played really well in the Western Conference Finals. The Thunder just, let's call it like it is. Thunder were just a better team, and I think the talent around Ant didn't play as well. Ant still played very well. You go back and look at those games. So I'm not going to sit here when we get to that point, and if the team doesn't play well around Ant, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, no, they lost to the better team. But if Ant plays well, I'm not going to sit here and blame Ant, because at some point there's just, he can put up 40, and there's just,
you got to carry him though, man. Luka did, and with less talent.
Not
in Dallas. So listen, we love Ant. He loves saying all the little quick stuff on X and all that stuff.
To be fair, Ant doesn't have a Kyrie Irving next to him.
Are we preparing ourselves for letdown? What we doing?
No. I'm not prepared. I think right now Minnesota's better than Denver.
Okay.
I flat out will say right now I've got San Antonio 1, Oklahoma City 2, Minnesota 3, Denver 4, Houston 5, and then at that point I don't really care who's next in line.
And that can shake. And I'm not going to fight that one, right? I just want to understand that Ant has had his opportunity. He's got a point guard. It may not be the guy. It may not be Kobe White. That's what we talked about. I said, man, if Kobe White can get in Minnesota, now you got something, right?
Yeah.
So I this is his opportunity. He's doing a lot of talking. Let's see.
Here we go. Let's tip the ball off. I'm ready to play some. I'm ready for the playoffs. Reggie, look. All right. I appreciate you for filling in for me. I gotta mute my mic. Hold on. I'll be right back.
What was that? Hold on a minute. Did you hopefully mute it that in time? I think Siri is reading Isaiah's mind. I do apologize if anybody heard anything.
My Alexa went off. I had a reminder set.
That's okay. That's your business.
It was nothing. I'll explain it later, but it's just I do a nightly dumbbell workout. I'm trying to get my arm. I'm trying to get the Hulk Hogan arms, if you get what I'm saying. But I'm not Hulk Hogan arms. He did a little extra to get those arms.
Really, you gonna use Hulk Hogan here?
But in all seriousness, Reggie, no, I really do have a lot of belief in Minnesota, unlike a lot of people probably. But it is fine. I like Minnesota. I like the moves that they made at the deadline. You freed up a little bit of money too by getting rid of Conley. One of my other winners. Well, I have two winners because they were the two that did the trade earlier today. My first winner is the Clippers. The second winner is the Pacers. Both teams win in this trade. Clippers won 2 trades because one of my losers is Cleveland, which we'll talk about here in a second. But my winners are the Clippers and the Pacers. Those are probably my final 2 off the top of my head right now, and probably Boston because they got Vooch. But the Clippers, I think, everybody's saying, oh, the Clippers are tanking. I don't think the Clippers are tanking with the roster that they just put together. If anything, they're probably a little bit deeper with the roster they put together.
Athleticism. Yeah. That's the word that comes to mind.
I'm telling you right now, Benedict Mathurin, I mean, if you don't, Benedict Mathurin is going to have a field day. Hey, Benedict, Kawhi's out. Just do what you got to do tonight. He's going to give you 25 points. Hey, Benedict, Kawhi's out again. Okay. And is DG playing with me? No?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go get you 30.
Yeah.
They're going to be fine. They'll be all right.
The thing I like about what the Clippers did with the Darius Garland deal.
Only concern is they don't have a big man. That's probably my only worry.
And a lot of teams, a lot of people, knock, what the Clippers, because it's the Clippers, not the step brothers of the Lakers, right? But they made a decision. They said, listen, we got to do something. When James Harden went to them and said, listen, I want an extension. And they said no. And he came back and said, well, if that's not going to be the case, get rid of me. I don't think if a guy says, I want you to trade me, that any other team could have done better than getting Darius Garland. My only rub is his toe. Yep. He's been in and out. And my understanding is he hasn't had a surgery on that toe. He's just been rehabbing, right? And Eddie Johnson talked about it yesterday on the drive on the XM86. And he says, yeah, he's had in and out, and he hasn't had a surgery. And maybe his handler is saying, okay, so yeah. Brooklyn, come on, man. Come on.
I agree. When they get to the playoffs, they're gonna torch Brooklyn.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. So, but with that said, the talk is that Darius Garland has declined to have the surgery, right? And I don't know that to be true, but he hasn't had the surgery. So I'm guessing he's declined to have the surgery. Yeah. And if he doesn't get his toe right, this is going to go from the Clippers being winners to the Clippers being big losers, right? But that's to be said, right? The other side of that is the Pacers and the Clippers, right? There's a lot. I've seen on my timeline, both sides. I've seen people say, well, Ben Mathurin was a troublemaker and he was arguing with his teammates and he was a bad guy. Listen, bring me some facts over feelings, first of all, on that, right? The other part of that, Ben wanted, it's rumored that he wanted a $100 million deal, 4 years, 120-ish. If that was the case, the Pacers weren't going to be able to sign him, okay? No. We talked about Isaiah Jackson. I love Isaiah Jackson with his energy, but he had topped out. He's 6'9", 220 pounds, playing center. That's not going to happen, right? And he's not a guy who can stretch the floor. Yep. So to that point, the rub is this. You bring Zubac in, who's got 2 years left after this at 19 and 20, which is a great deal. $6 million less than what Turner got, by the way.
Yeah,
is the draft pick this year. 1 through 4, 10 through 30, which is really 10 through 14. Here's the deal, right? So the lottery is set up this way. The ping pong goes for the first 4 teams, right? Whomever, whatever order. Then the 5th team is the team with the next worst record. That's why the Clippers said 5 through 9. So if the Pacers are 1 through 4, obviously they get that pick. But if somehow the ping pong balls roll around, the best could be for the Pacers would be 5th, which would mean 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th is the Clippers. That's why they did that deal. If you do that math, that makes sense on this regard. We're seeing the end result. We're not seeing the negotiation. We're not seeing the back and forth. And for me, and I've said this on this show, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you now, mark the tape, clip this. I'm telling you now that the Pacers are going to be a top 4 pick. The NBA owes the Pacers for the Patrick Ewing fiasco. I've already talked to the Crypt Keeper. We've discussed it. It's going to happen. So I'm not concerned about it. Now, if in fact, Vegas gets involved, then I'll have to eat crow on May the 10th. As a matter of fact, the lottery is May the 10th. I was thinking June 10th. It's May the 10th, by the way.
Yeah.
So I think it's a fair deal. The Pacers finally have a center. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Pacers finally have a legitimate center since who? Roy Hibbert. Roy Hibbert. Center. When I speak of center, I'm not talking about a guy out there shooting 28 footers. I'm talking about a guy hovering in the paint, rebounding the ball, and not letting his players, his teammates, get abused down there in the paint. Zubac's averaging 13 rebounds, I think, 14 points or something like that?
Yeah.
A legitimate center. 2 years left after this at 19 and 20, and he's 29 years old.
Yeah, that's a good get. And I agree with Eli. I think that right now I would give the trade a C+, because you're playing with house money. You're gambling. I get it. I think it's it's a gamble. I think C+ is a fine grade. I maybe bump it up to a B-. Now, when we get to May 10th and the Pacers do get a top 4 pick, then I'll move it to an A. But right now,
it's a wrap. It's foregone conclusion.
Right now, it is a gamble. So right now, I'm gonna give the trade what I have it at face value, and that's a C+. For the Clippers, I give the Clippers a B all around because you got rid of Harden, who was going to choke in the playoffs anyways. And you get Benedict Mathurin, who's a go-getter. You get Darius Garland, who when he's good is going to share the ball, get Kawhi his buckets, get Ben his buckets, run a nice little pick and roll with Brook Lopez. Oof. But we'll see how it goes, right? Clippers are still in a good spot. And I know, I was talking about the crisis on the NBA about the Thunder, and everybody on Twitter saying, the Thunder are back in it. The Thunder's office is doing backflips if the Clippers made this move. Clippers could still make the playoffs, and the Clippers could still continue to roll here because Kawhi's actually playing and he's actually healthy. So we could see what happens. So
Clippers, I'm sorry. What did you just say? I didn't hear you.
I know. Kawhi Leonard and healthy, 2 things that just haven't gone together in the last couple of years seem to. Hey, Joel Embiid's even turning back the clock at this point. I don't know. Michael Jordan may step out onto the court for the Bulls. You never really know at this point with how healthy everyone's looking. Benedict Hard giveaway plus the picks. Huff's going to be a solid backup center next year.
He's going to be a good, so we won't have to worry about him starting. I want to finish up my piece with the Pacers because I don't want to dominate this with Pacer talk. But here's where the Pacers are. This is just facts. The Pacers core is set for the next 3 years. That's Pascal, Halliburton, Zubac, Nembhard, Obi Toppin, Aaron Nesmith, T.J. McConnell, Jarris Walker, Ben Shepherd, and Jay Huff.
Gonna pick.
How many names did I just name? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And Furphy. That's 11. That's 11 guys there.
The pick.
Yeah, well, right. So you follow what I'm saying?
That's
so
12.
Their core is intact. This isn't this guy's great, leave next year. No. They got this year and 2 more after that.
Yeah.
So they've got a core piece, and that's why when they get I think that when I talk to the Crypt Keeper, he says it's going to be Daryl's going to either be second pick or third pick. So either AJ or either be Caleb Wilson out of North Carolina will be an Indiana Pacer. I'm just sharing it.
Or Boozer.
No, I've talked to him. We're not looking at Boozer. It's going to be Caleb or AJ at the either second or third pick. That's I'm just telling you. I'm just helping you out.
Listen. If I'm pulling up the lottery right now, I'm going to share it again.
I peeped it today, man.
Hold on. I'm gonna do a little bit of. I'm gonna do a little mind transformation here. All right, I'm Adam Silver, and if I'm sitting here right, and I'm Adam Silver, I'm not giving Sacramento Cam Boozer, DeBonsa, or what's his name. So they're going to drop all the way to 4th or 5th. Washington, they just made an effort to be competitive. I'm going to give them the 2nd to 3rd pick. The Hawks, I need another good team in the East. I'm going to give them a good pick as well. So in my mind, Sacramento is going to be the one to drop here if I'm Adam Silver, because let's all be honest, it's rigged. Look at the Mavericks last year. Look at all these other lotteries, right? Patrick Ewing.
Fiasco, by the way.
If I'm being honest, and look how Adam Silver did the Brooklyn Nets last year. They were projected to be in the top 5, and they dropped so far. Nets fans were crying all day on Twitter, and then come the draft night. Right now, and I think the top 3 in the draft is going to be a mix of these 4 teams. I think it'll be Indiana, New Orleans, aka Atlanta, Washington, and Utah. I think those 4 teams are going to be in the mix for a top pick, and maybe Memphis, we'll see, but that's where I'm at right now. In my opinion, Indiana will be in that top 4. I think Atlanta/New Orleans is guaranteed in the top 4, and I think Washington as well, because AD and Trae Young aren't going to play this year. And if I'm Indiana, it's time. Hey, look, it's time to start.
Right?
It's time to start. It's time to start
those veterans.
It's time to start load managing a little bit.
Hey, listen, man. Pascal Siakam's too damn good in the 4th quarter. He should not be allowed to play in the 4th quarter the rest of the year.
No.
So they've got young guys that are out there that need some experience. Give them the opportunity to get experience. And by the way, Zubac just had a baby. So maybe he should go on leave for the next.
He should go on maternity leave.
His wife just had a baby.
Go take care of your kid. And
give it 30 days to get acclimated.
Yes.
Get a new place. Yes. You're going from LA
to honestly, with all the snow, it's gonna. I know he's not used to probably driving in the snow. Just let him sit in LA for about a month, and then give him the maternity leave once he comes into Indiana.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
Halliburton's going to be fine, and honestly.
Not a question at all, by the way.
And if you have any concerns, here's what I'll tell you. Go watch Tatum in the playoffs this year and tell me if Halliburton's going to come back okay.
Well, I've got it on even better information than that. TH is ahead of schedule, and there's no talk about him playing this year because the Pacers have already shut that down. But after Pacers were playing in May, he'd have an opportunity to play.
That's via sources, right? We're Shams too. Via sources.
Yeah. This is even better than Shams.
I'm not gonna. You know what? People have been hard.
This about Halliburton is better than Shams. I'm telling you now, it's better.
It's been a hard week for Shams. Everyone was questioning him this week, so I'm not gonna go into Shams too much. Tatum definitely has to come back for the playoffs.
I don't think he's gonna come back. I mean, I don't know. I'm not connected.
Reggie, where are you at? Where are you at to tell these two that they're smoking? Or Tatum's coming back. If Tatum's coming back with where they're at right now.
So they got an opportunity right there. They're third in the West, right? I mean, the East, excuse me. But I don't know, man.
They're the second best team out East. Congrats.
Third. I thought it was Detroit, New York, and Boston.
No, you are. I'm saying they're the second best team out East.
Okay, I got you.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Boston.
I thought you said the Knicks were one.
No, I have agreed with you this whole time. I have just been saying if there's any year that New York needs to win the chip, it's now because it's not going to be next year.
Well, it ain't gonna happen.
Probably not going to be this year either.
It ain't gonna happen.
Look, props to you on sticking with your guy Jaylen Brown. If Tatum comes back, which he will, all three of you are disagreeing with me, but he will. I think Boston could win. I think Boston's going to come out of the East with the way it's moving.
Listen, clip this. There's no chance in hell Boston come out the East because there's some dudes in the Midwest just north of here that ain't playing. It's called the Detroit Pistons. Will be coming out of the East.
You think Detroit could beat Oklahoma City, Denver, or San Antonio?
I think they give them a hell of a run, man. Detroit got better.
You think they win any of those against any of those three in a 7-game series?
I don't say they just. I don't know, man. But I think the Detroit is good enough team to do very similar to what the Pacers did last year. Cade Cunningham, absolutely. Detroit's man. Listen, I get it. You know, it's Detroit. We think about the malice and all those things. I'm telling you, Detroit is the truth, man. Detroit's the truth. I love Detroit. And listen, I'm a betting man, but I'm not going to bet that Detroit would beat, Oklahoma City or Denver. But I'm also, flip side, I'm not going to bet that either. I'm not betting in the final. I don't bet in the final. I don't do that.
Reggie,
but man, I like Detroit, man. I do.
Reggie, I think I'm starting to like you a little bit. I think I like the Pistons. I'm not hating on the Pistons. I just think.
No, I don't. You're not hating, but that guy that just made that comment is.
I don't think the Pistons are coming out of the East right now because, I mean, once again, props to my co-host here. He's been confident in Boston all year because of Jaylen Brown and
MVP Jaylen Brown.
I'm telling you right now, if Jason Tatum doesn't come back and this team's a top 3 team in the East, then I'm going to go on here and rant on Jason Tatum because he's going to be back in the time frame that it is to come back from an Achilles. You might as well come back. You might as well,
man.
Unless you play bad. But even then, they're going to work him into the rotation.
I don't know, man.
Tatum's coming back.
I'm always worried about injuries, man.
Tatum's coming back. There's no way he isn't.
Listen, I don't know what their record was this time last year, but I'd be willing to bet it's not a 2-game difference.
Yeah.
And with that said, I would say let's let it ride. You got the MVP. You got the best player in your team playing at an MVP level. No, he's not going to get the MVP. I got all that.
The game time MVP?
Yeah, he's going to be the game time MVP, right? But I just, man, if I'm a Boston fan, I don't want Tatum coming back. I don't.
For what reason would you not want Tatum coming back?
Injury, man. That was an Achilles. Fine. That's not like a broken finger, man.
I get it, but he's going to be
on
fine.
That thing. Every step he takes, he's putting pressure on that Achilles.
And you know what?
Getting it stronger, man. Getting it stronger. He hurt himself in May.
Yeah.
In May. This is February.
He's going to be back. I'm telling you, he's going to be back. There's no way he's missing. I'm not saying
he's not coming back. What I'm just saying is, I just think it'd be a mistake him coming back.
Well,
maybe we could ask a Boston fan. Any Boston fans out there? Any Celtic fans want to?
Well, I'll make sure to ask. I'll make sure this is a clip, and we'll make sure to get an answer because I think Celtics fans they're maybe on your side where it's like, well, I don't want him to come back if he's not ready. If he's ready though.
But you don't know if you're ready though, right? Yeah, you can do your workout.
It's a mental thing. I agree. It's a mental thing.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's under full understanding that Tyrese isn't coming back, and I'm okay with that.
That's fine.
Even if the Pacers were I don't know, the flip 35-13, I wouldn't want him coming back.
35-13 would put them
because
second.
I'm saying that because they would have got that record without you.
I guess I'm bringing him back if he's ready.
Yeah,
he won't be back.
See, look at that. I hate agreeing with Reggie, but this is the one time in the last 6 months I've agreed with Reggie. He won't be back. They're not going to risk it. Yeah,
Tatum's coming back. If they're in the playoffs and they're this high of a seed, and you got to play the Magic or the Heat, man, I'm bringing him back.
As long as he's willing to understand that it's not his team and he's Robin. As long as he's willing to understand that.
I'm not going to touch that. Sure, Daryl. I'll let you. Yeah.
I'm just giving you facts over feelings.
Yep.
Listen, I did the breakdown on Jalen's numbers.
Yep. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not even going to comment on it. I will
wins
let you
and
have
losses,
it.
baby. Wins and losses.
So I want to pull up the standings again because I've got two teams that I want to talk about. I've already talked about them on a video. I want to, first off.
You went ham, by the way. You right up on the overnight. Hey, much love. I like that.
First off, because nobody watched my After Hours episode on Cleveland, so I'm going to say this right now, Cleveland. I'm going to zoom in real quick, so I'm not going to be able to see the comments.
Oregon versus Indiana. Here it comes.
Cleveland versus Toronto in the first round. Let's say playoffs started right here today. You're losing in game 6 or 7 because I'm telling you right now, James Harden isn't going to show up, right? You would have been better off with Garland being out than bringing in James Harden because I read it on After Hours. How many points did James Harden have in game 7 last year against Denver? I think it was 8.
6 or 8, something like that.
Something like that. And you're bringing him in to save this Cleveland team? That's hysterical. You think James Harden's going to get and you're going to pay him $40 million over the next 2 years? I'm telling you in New York, your window, it's like what Miles Turner did when he came back to Indy. Look, close the book. Close the book. It's over. Just get ready to sign Braun, give him his retirement run, and Braun may come out of the East. We'll see. But close that book. Close that book on Cleveland in this championship window.
Don't you say Cleveland, Braun to Cleveland?
Oh, Braun's going to Cleveland next year. He's going to take a pay cut to go there. He's going to take a pay cut. Where else is he going to go? Unless he goes to Golden State to play with Curry because he's talked about it for I don't know how long at this point. But I think he goes back to Cleveland. 1 year retirement tour.
To play with Draymond. That's his guy right there. That's what he really loves, man.
No, I think they trade Draymond at some point. They almost did it at the deadline. We'll see, though.
I don't think they trade him.
I think he goes to Cleveland or Golden State. That's where I'm sitting at right now. But Cleveland, this was a horrible move to get Harden, and I don't think it's going to work out in your favor because, like I said on the on After Hours, you're still not better than Detroit. You're still not better than New York. You're still not better than Boston. You probably would lose to Toronto. You'd probably lose to Philadelphia, especially if Embiid's playing the way he's playing right now. And then I'm not even going to talk about the Orlando Magic because they're the biggest failures out of everyone in this conference right now that was supposed to be competitive. And my other team that I'm going to rant on, because I did it earlier in the offseason, Daryl, can you talk about it? He's the equivalent to Jerry Jones, and his name is Pat Riley of the Miami Heat, because I talked about it this offseason. When you had a chance to get Kevin Durant, you viewed Jaime Jaquez and Haywood Smith as these high caliber role players that, we just don't want to give up because they just contribute so much to our team. And then you have a chance. Now, thank you. Now, I will say this. My one positive on the Miami Heat, apparently the Memphis Grizzlies were asking for Jaime, somebody else, and a first-round pick for John Morant. Good job on saying no. But are we seriously trying to covet Norman Powell and Bam Adebayo and get Giannis? Man,
I love them, man. They love him.
I'm giving them Bam. I'm giving them Norman. I'm giving them Harem. I'm giving whoever they want for Giannis. This is Giannis. This is a top 5 player in the NBA. And you just said, well, man, we really just want to pair him with Bam. So we're going to keep Bam out of this and Norman Powell. It just doesn't make no sense to me, man. You got to get
like After Hours, man. This feels like the After Hours show.
You get a chance to get a top 5 player, and you just like, no, I'm not going to do it. That's like the Lakers last year saying, well, we want to keep Anthony Davis. Like, really? I don't understand the logic. You have a chance to get a top 5 player in the NBA, regardless of what you feel about Giannis. Top 5 player, run and dunk man, whatever you want to call him. And you You're valuing Bam Adebayo and Norman Powell? Like Pat Riley is he's Jerry Jones. And to this point, credit to Jerry Jones, he's doing better than Pat Riley. Every single offseason and deadline, we hear the Miami Heat, the Miami Heat, the Miami Heat. Heat, we're going to try to get Harden. Heat, we're trying to get Damian Lillard. Heat, we're trying to get this guy. Heat, we're trying to get this guy. And guess what they end up with, Daryl? 0. You know what? Guess what? You know this fun fact? The Heat were the only team out east to not make a trade at the deadline. If that doesn't sound like the Dallas Cowboys in free agency, I don't know what doesn't. They're losing. The Heat is a failing organization. Failing. Do you disagree with anything I'm saying here?
Hey, man, I'm loving it. I'm the one that usually go on these rants and, raise my blood pressure. But you're on a roll, man. Hey, like Stuart Scott would say, it must be butter because you're definitely on a roll, man.
I just find it so asinine that these teams aren't giving up. Because I get it, right? You're giving up. If you got to give up 4 first, why wouldn't you give up 5 first-round picks for Giannis and whatever? It's Giannis. Just trade. I'm trading everybody on the roster, and then guess what? Guess how much cap space? I would trade everybody on the Miami Heat roster for Giannis, and then I would sign a bunch of G Leaguers for the rest of the year to surround Giannis with. And then guess what? We've got unlimited cap space going into the summer to sign whoever we want to put around Giannis. You could have traded the whole roster and 5 first-round picks. And then guess what? You got all this money heading into the offseason to build around Giannis. But no, we want Bam Adebayo and Norman Powell so badly that we're not willing to get a top 5 player in the league. Oh, my gosh, man. Just losing mentality. That's why I'm so happy for the Wizards, because they said, you know what? We've got an opportunity. Let's go get it. What did the Heat do? They said, well, man, we really just love Bam Adebayo and Norman Powell so much, even though they're nowhere near a top 25 player in this league right now. All right, man. I guess. Continue to be in the Atlanta, Miami, Chicago playing invitational every year, I guess.
I love it, man. So you're clearly standing on business when it comes to Miami, Washington Wizards, Cleveland,
Minnesota,
and also Utah.
No, not really Utah. I think it was a good move. Like I said, I think their biggest issue is they're out west, whereas Washington, they're in a weaker conference. Regardless of how stronger the East is going to be, still the weaker conference because. Yeah. So
let's pivot, right? So, the trade deadline is over, right? There's been a lot of movement, and we talked about these ancillary moves. Maybe that's a precursor for the summer, right? Give me maybe your top 1 or 2 surprises that we might see come June.
I mean, it's not even a team from the deadline. It's Philadelphia. It really is Philadelphia. And by the way, another one of my small winners is the Thunder for getting Jared McCain, because the Sixers just kind of they didn't give up on him, but Edgecombe is just playing really well, and there was no room for him in the lineup. Okay, fine.
That's the key. You just said it. Room.
Yeah. There was no room in the lineup.
Ben Mathurin deal, right? So very similar too.
And the Thunder have all these first-round picks. They just told Philly, "Here's a first-round pick. We'll go ahead and take in McCain." And guess what? McCain's going to have a chance to get comfortable because Shea's going to be out for a little bit. So I like what the Thunder did, but I really think, and I've done this a lot, Daryl, where the last couple seasons before we even started this pod, I would always be a little confident in Philadelphia, and then they disappointed me. And I'm starting to get that itch again with Philadelphia. It's like, I really like Philadelphia, but it's also like, I just kind of know it's second round and that's it for them. It feels like, but seeing Edgecombe and Maxey, Embiid's not really the leader of this team. He's still the leader maybe in the locker room, but he's not the guy. And it's Maxey and Edgecombe. That gives me a lot more hope for this team.
Okay. There's a lot of talk about, we haven't mentioned this team at all. That's the Toronto Raptors. I got guys telling me on the side, said, man, you're sleeping on Toronto, man. You don't bring them up enough. Yes, they're not, top 3 in the East right now, but they got young talent. They got talent that's had an opportunity to kind of marinate. My man that played at Duke, went to play the Lakers. What's his name? Your guy?
I don't even know.
Big Ford. Who's it?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Play with the Lakers. Play with your boys.
I'm blanking on it. You didn't give me enough info there. I'm sorry.
Anyway, they've got talent, right?
Yes.
And the talk is
Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, Ingram. Yeah. So the talk is, man, they didn't make any moves. They didn't make anything crazy, but they're just steady going along, man. They're just going right along.
I'm curious because what they were trying to get Sabonis. How much would of them getting Sabonis? How much would that have changed that for you in their mind? Are they up there with Detroit? Because for me right now, I think it's Detroit, Boston, and New York. I'll give it to New York, even though I think they're slipping. I think it's Detroit, New York, and Boston. Put them in any order you want. And then there's that second group, and I think it's a group of 4. It's Cleveland, Toronto, Philly, and Orlando. And then you can group how you want.
For me, I think Sabonis has been a stat whore on bad teams. With the Pacers, then he goes out there to Sacramento. And listen, I'm not saying the guy's a bum. He's a good player. But I think he's a stat whore on bad teams. And he's got 2 more years left after this. One at 45-4, the next one at 48-6. So he's not coming cheap. And I do think he's limited on the defensive end. Yeah, he gets rebounds, but that's in part because no one else on the team is getting them.
No.
So he's got a healthy contract. 45 and 48 is nothing to sneeze at. And granted, I understand salary caps are going up, but 45 and 48 for a guy who's not a dominating type player, or has that one thing that he does really, really good. He's like a great shooter, great rebound. He's a good rebounder. But on the defensive end, he loses some of that because he's not having a very strong base. So I mean, if you take on him, he's got to be your missing piece, right? You've got the guys, or you got a core of 7 or 8 guys, and then you add him, right? But other than that, I just think he's just going to kind of marinate in Sacramento. That's what I said earlier. They've got a bad team with a bunch of older players, and with contracts, right? You've got Levine's got a year next year. He's got 48. DeRozan has 25. DeAndre Hunter has 25. Malik Monk has 2 years left. Keegan Murray, to me, is their winner. He's at 11 this year, 24, 26, and 27. So, I mean, are you going to build around Keegan Murray, who doesn't do any one thing great either? They've got a lot of very good players, but they don't have a player that's going to take them over the top.
They just got
and then on top, they didn't do anything. You got a log jam, and you didn't do anything with it, man. I feel like they were one of the biggest losers.
They've got pieces of an engine that you could get from anywhere. That's really, and it's not even the best piece. It's just an okay piece of the engine. Hey, you could go get that. You could go get a better piece of that engine from somewhere else. That's what Sacramento essentially has, in my opinion.
They're going to run this thing back, man. That's kind of what they're saying.
Yeah, and that's why I think. That's why I think if I put on my Adam Silver mask, that's why I think out of all the teams that are in that top 4, they're going to be the ones that get done dirty, along with Brooklyn, because it's Brooklyn.
Levine has a player option. He's leaving.
Who's going to sign Levine?
Well, then again, you get a point. At 40, he's at 47.
What contender is going to say, we could really use a Zach Levine?
Oh, no, I'm lying to you. Levine's at 48.9.
Hey, Cleveland keeps bringing in mediocre shooting guards. They just brought in a playoff choker. Maybe they'll sign Zach Levine.
He would have to take a pay cut. Nobody's going to pay him $48 million.
He can go to Brooklyn. Brooklyn will give him $48 million. Hey, but speaking of Brooklyn, Cam Thomas getting waived.
Well, I don't understand that. I'm not as close to the New Jersey Nets as you are.
I'm not either.
Well, what happened?
I don't go near them because that building's always on fire. I don't want to get.
Granted, he's only had $6 million left on his contract this year. He doesn't have a player option next year or a team option. So it was $6 million they just threw in the trash. They're not trying to be competitive.
You asked me why he wanted out.
No, I don't think.
You were just curious. Randy Orton's theme song, right? I hear voices in my head. That's probably what Cam Thomas. He's probably like. He probably just couldn't take it no more, and he just stormed out of the building.
I'm just going to tell you, they got a lot of room, man, because
they missed out. Keep in mind they got what, 5 first-round picks, and they as of right now, it looks like they've missed on all 5.
Man, that's bad, man. You have 5 first-round picks.
That's laughably horrible. That's horrible.
You know, their money player is Michael Porter Jr. He's at 38 this year and got 1 year left. At 40, it's not a player option or a team option. He's going to walk. Claxton has 2 years after this at 23 and 20. Claxton is their most valuable player.
Rob, look, all I've asked is Claxton on the Lakers. Can you please save him from that monstrosity?
And he's got 2 years left after this deal, after this year, man.
Claxton,
2 years left.
I'm salivating at the mouth. Claxton and Luka? I'm salivating. Come on, Rob.
Well, remember, it is Rob Pelinka now.
It is Rob Pelinka.
Don't get too excited. Don't get too excited.
Pelinka. He makes me nervous. Don't get me wrong. I would like to see Cam Thomas. Really, I'd like to see him end up in Minnesota, but because they could still use another point guard, to be honest, even though they just got DeSamu, but they still need another guard because they traded Dillingham.
Well, let me ask you this. Where does Kobe White go?
Well, he's in Charlotte. He didn't get waived.
No, I know that.
Or next summer?
He's not a backup.
Milwaukee?
He's not a backup point guard.
Milwaukee? Huh?
That's the move I didn't understand of all these moves.
Oh, you're talking about.
I didn't understand because Kobe White has done nothing but grow as a player. And I'm talking about skill wise, and then all of a sudden you see that he's being traded to Charlotte, and I'm pulling him up right now. I don't understand that.
Could they let LaMelo play the 2 and put Kobe at the 1, or put Kobe at the 2 and LaMelo at the 1?
I don't know, man.
Because I agree with you. I don't think Kobe White should be LaMelo. I don't think Kobe White should be off the bench. But he would be
LaMelo is at 40 next year, 43, and then 46. Kobe White he's finished up a $12 million deal here. He's in a walk year. Are you going to pay Kobe White 35 to 40 million that he wanted in Chicago, which is why they traded him? Miles Bridges will be in his last year next year for 22 million.
I think for Cam Thomas, I think Milwaukee needs to look at both Cam Thomas and Kobe White. Kobe White for the summer and Cam Thomas right now. I mean, Cam Thomas would be a great guy to go over there. And I'm not saying Cam Thomas is this like great player, but he's been in Brooklyn just shooting the basketball, right? He's just been.
Wasn't he in Phoenix?
Who?
Cam Thomas.
No, he was in Brooklyn. I don't know where he was at before.
He was
Brooklyn.
in Phoenix when they for the title, the year they were playing in the title against Milwaukee, and that's when he and Bridges got traded, if you remember. I didn't
know that. Look, Cam Thomas has just been doing a bunch of park runs in Phoenix, right? You know, just YMCA runs. This is a good chance for him this is a good chance for teams in the summer to find out, can Cam Thomas be a contributor to a good team? That is what Cam Thomas needs to think of when he goes to sign this summer sign to a team. He needs to go somewhere. Maybe that's not a playoff contender, but maybe
he's a Lakers kind of guy.
I ain't gonna say no. I mean, we really don't need him. We don't need a guard, but I'm not gonna say no, right? You don't say no to someone that, I mean, he's averaging 22 or something like that. I get it's in Brooklyn, right? I get it. There's a huge asterisk next to his stats because where he was playing at. But once I said this, this is a good preview for teams in the summer that say, can Cam Thomas be a contributor to my contending basketball team? That's what Cam Thomas needs to think of when he's talking to his agent. Where's a team that I can go that I can show to people, hey, I can be a contender. I can be a guy that you can sign to play for your championship team next year.
That's pretty tough, man. That's man, it's gonna be a lot of movement. As I'm looking at these salaries here as you're talking,
man, I think Cam Thomas ends up out east for sure. I think he's out east.
I don't know, man. You know, and I'm looking at Atlanta, man. They got a lot of guys signed. CJ McCollum, he's gonna come off the books. Jalen Johnson's got $30 million for the next 3 years. Kuminga's got 2 years left. Alexander Walker's got 3 years left. Man.
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, for guys like Kobe White and
Dyson Daniels, you know, on the cheap, you know, 25 for the next 3 years after this year, you know. Man,
this summer is going to be real interesting.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be lit, man. And we're here for all the smoke. Matter of fact, we're gonna try to work it out to where when we get down to the draft party for the Pacers, maybe we can by that time we'll be legitimate card carrying members, and we can do some great stuff when we get down there. But it's gonna be a lot of movement going around. That's June 25th, and then obviously day 2 is June 26th. That's a great day because that's my birthday. But it's gonna be crazy, man. This June is gonna be a lot of movement, a lot of conversation all the way around for sure.
I think it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm excited to see where Cam Thomas goes. I was so shocked that he got waived. And yes, Reggie, Hornets are on an 8-game winning streak as of today. And I just look, they're in the plan. They're in the plan.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Okay. You know you're muted now. Now I can't hear you.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Give me a second. Give me a second.
Okay. I'm so confused. What? Okay. I just want to I want to give myself a pat on the back because Daryl has been on me about the Charlotte Hornets as of late. I thought he was going to make a joke about the Hornets. My apologies. But I really like what the Hornets have, Reggie. You know, he's given me crap about LaMelo a lot and his immaturity, and I agree he's very immature, but Brandon Miller's been playing really well. Hornets are doing well, and then Connor Knuppel, you know, I just saw him as a catch and shoot type of guy, but he can seem to do a little more than just catch and shoot. So I like what the Hornets are doing as a team. I think they're doing really well. Hopefully they can continue to climb up the standings. As I look at them right now, 2 games back from Atlanta. I honestly think Atlanta's probably going to start losing more games than they are going to win. And Miami as well. I mean, they'll probably both still make the play in, Atlanta and Miami. But right now, I think the Hornets could they have a chance here to catch Orlando. I don't think they'll catch Philadelphia. So it's going to be interesting to see for sure. I'm waiting on D-Cop to get back. And there he is. He's coming back right now. Daryl,
I got word there was black SUVs out in front of the house because I was talking bad about Rob Pelinka. All it was just my catering service getting ready. So we're good. Don't worry about it. We're good.
I knew there was a joke coming in there somewhere. What I was saying before you left was I want to pat myself on the back a little bit because you've been so hard on me about these Charlotte Hornets. And look, they're 10th, right? It's the last spot in the plan. But look who's 7th, the Orlando Magic. They're only 2 games back from the Magic. They're only a couple games back.
Look, man,
and the Bulls. And think about it. Think about it. The Bulls just said, we're done. So now the Bucks may start making some movement here. We'll see when Giannis comes back. But Hornets, they could get past Atlanta and Miami, and they could be as high as the 7th seed.
You know,
they could. I think they're set. They're set to be in the plan. I think at this moment in time,
they've got a talented team, right? Nipple has done great coming in from Duke. I know that he wasn't the first player pick. I know he's not statistically better than your guy in Dallas, but he's been a bigger surprise. He plays like a veteran.
I thought he's definitely more than a catch and shoot, and that's all I thought he was.
For sure. And I was thinking catch and shoot. He's taken a lot of load off of Brandon. He's helped out Ball. Mm-hmm. Ball, still not a fan of the Ball deal, and you know that. Yes. But I mean, overall, big picture wise, man, you know, they play well. Miles Bridges has been playing well. Josh Green's played pretty well. And now you've got Kobe White. They've got a good, talented team, man.
They've got something there.
You look at their team, they've got a good team, man. Yeah. You know, of talent, right? Of talent. There's a lot of talent in the NBA, but I'm just curious as to see what happens with Kobe White after the regular season. For me. If I'm the Lakers, that's the type of guy, a dynamic guy, right? Remember you just said Kyrie, right? And Luka.
Yeah.
He's a young listen, he's not Kyrie. I get all that.
Yes.
I love me some Kyrie. But man, Kobe White can play and he's a baller. So, he's going to bring a healthy paycheck.
So if you're the Lakers, are you getting rid of Austin Reeves?
That's a tool you can use, man.
Yeah.
I didn't go.
That's funny. I'm curious to see what the Lakers will do. Like we'll play our playoff series this year, and we'll be lucky if we win the first round, but I'm not worried about the playoffs. Honestly, you gotta give me a little bit of credit. I've not been on here over dramatic about the Lakers. When it comes to their ceiling this season, I've been very mellow. I said maybe second round.
I'll give you credit, man. You haven't been biased like Reggie is with his teams. You've been balanced. You've been fair. I give you credit. I've given you every chance to go in and wave your Laker pom-poms, man, but you haven't done it. Look, you've even said the truth about LeBron when Bron fans don't say the truth about him. I give you credit.
Look, I love Bron. All right. I may even cry a little bit when he plays that last game. All I've known in the league is LeBron James. There was a time where when the playoffs came around, I didn't even watch the games in the East because I knew who was coming out of the East, right? I have all the love in the world for LeBron, right? I think LeBron gets too much hate. I think LeBron gets too much hate, and KD doesn't get enough, and Giannis doesn't get enough. I think there's a lot of guys.
Hate? What do you know?
I think there's a lot of.
You've been good for an hour and 20 minutes. Now you get coming with this bullshiggity about KD doesn't get enough hate.
Anyway, well, I hope he plays bad in the playoffs.
He gets all the hate in the world. What are you talking about?
Not enough. But anyways,
why should he get? No, we don't want to go down that path because we're gonna go back to the meeting at the Hamptons and all that.
KD and Steph. That TikTok clip still is the only good one on TikTok.
Oh my god!
But COD hates James and KD. COD hates James and KD gets a lot of hate.
I don't hate any player. I just speak the truth about player. It's fact over fiction, and I'm not buying into the you're just saying this because you don't like the guy. I don't know the guy.
KD gets a lot of hate, but it's not enough for me. It's not enough for me to be.
Well, honest. I understand why you have the hate towards him. I get it. What he
but did. Listen, in all seriousness, I've always been a LeBron James fan, other than the time he was in Miami. But I've always been a LeBron James fan. So it's time. I am realistic enough to sit here and say, I think the Lakers organization failed LeBron at one point or another, more than one point or another, and some of it is his doing. Right? I blame the organization for the Westbrook trade. I blame LeBron for the Westbrook trade. I'm not sitting here and saying it's one side or the other.
You've been consistent.
It's in the middle. I think the Lakers have done LeBron wrong in multiple ways, and I think LeBron is. He's agreed to some trades that I just don't agree with. But if I could say this, he brought a championship to LA, regardless of who wants to talk about it, right? They won the championship. So
tell Reggie, look into the camera and tell Reggie right now. So because since he's watching and he's got the James hate, look into the camera, do the Oregon, Indiana thing, and break him off something, man.
I got that. The 2020 championship was well earned. No other team had the mental fortitude like my Los Angeles Lakers to win that championship because Skip Bayless himself, and I don't care what I hate Skip Bayless, but Skip Bayless said this. This just goes to show you how so many people despise that championship. Skip Bayless said that because the Lakers didn't play the Clippers, that championship doesn't count. Man, if anybody else would have won that championship that year, they would have been like, man, what a great moment for this player. But because a certain guy won the championship in different circumstances, it doesn't count. But if it was anybody else, if it was KD, if it was Harden, if it was Giannis, if it was Devin Booker, if it was whoever, it would have been, man, this guy wins his first or whatever number NBA championship. But because it was LeBron and it was the Lakers, it's, well, they didn't play the Clippers and they didn't do this and the circumstances. Mind you, the Lakers were the number one seed before the league shut down. But we can't worry about that because it's LeBron and the circumstances is the reason why they won the championship. But whatever, I don't want to hear it. But to end it off, it is time for LeBron to leave the Lakers, go to Cleveland, give your fans one more year. Like you are John Cena. All right. Take your retirement tour. All right. Maybe you even get out of the Eastern Conference. You're not because it's going to be the Pacers, but maybe you get out of the Eastern Conference, right? Maybe, just maybe. But you're going to enjoy your last year and you'll ride off into the sunset in Cleveland and my Lakers next year. I've been really tame this year, but man, if we do the right things in free agency, I'm putting $100 on the Lakers.
So what you're telling me is you're going to be.
I'm going to be biased with a little bit of truth next year. If the Lakers make the right moves this summer, I'm going to be biased with a little truth next year.
That's got a nice ring to it.
Well, that's flipped. If you notice, I flipped it.
You're going to be insufferable is what you're telling me. Basically, you're going to be insufferable from.
Man, I'll tell you what. If we get the right pieces around Luka, I may be the most insufferable person since Skip Bayless.
Do you think you can be more insufferable than Ramon was when he invited us to the Buckeye Invitational?
Oh yeah, I've got way more charisma. I could be way worse. I could be way worse. I could be entirely worse. Now look. The only difference, when the Lakers play anyone next year, if they make the right moves next offseason, I will say they can beat anybody other than the Pacers, because if we get a Laker-Pacers finals, I'm winning either way. Now I probably lean more towards the Pacers because I would probably lean towards more the Pacers because the Lakers. I became a Lakers fan because I watched them win a title, and then I got to watch them win a title even though it was in the bubble. So I've seen the Lakers win a title. If it came down to the Lakers and Pacers in the finals, I'd probably be 70% Pacers, 30% Lakers. I'm being completely honest with you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Even though I have a Luka jersey on, I'm not a big Luka fan. I'm glad we have a generational talent, but I'm not a big Luka fan. My girlfriend surprised me with the Luka jersey, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So I'm gonna wear it.
So as we've been throwing these hints out, and we're not gonna let the whole cat out of the bag, but there's gonna be an announcement this weekend.
Probably
more like tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Okay. Not gonna let the cat out of the bag, but the Game Time Network is branching and doing some great things. We got some things under our sleeve that we're gonna be rolling out. More content, communication, a lot of love, a lot of sports, a lot of bantering back and forth. We're gonna have some fun. I'm just looking forward to it, man. I'm ready to go. We've been passing over some characters over the last day and a half. It's gonna be some good stuff coming down the pipe for everybody.
And once again, I send him a DM personally, but I will say it here since he's watching the show. Thank you to Reggie for filling in on Sunday. I could not make. I'm usually here for every show.
The worst ever, by the way. We had two viewers.
Ratings and interactions were probably some of the best I've seen. I was like, man, maybe I should just not be on the show. No, in all seriousness, I want to give a big thank you for Reggie for filling in. For the first time in my whole college career, I had to broadcast a game on a Sunday for IU East, so I had to go do that. No, I couldn't, not do it. So I want to give a big thanks for Reggie for filling in. It was a really good show. Reggie, it seems like you may be here a little more often. So maybe we'll have to pull some money out the budget, get you a better camera.
We gotta get the editors up, and we got to make sure that the online process is clean, because there's some dirty Reggie's background we got to get cleaned up first before you can come back on.
Reggie, I'm gonna need you to delete your whole Facebook and make a new one just for the Game Time Network. That's what I'll need you to do. No, I'm joking. It'll be fun. This Sunday it'll be me and Ramon exclusively on the show. Daryl will be in Orlando, and he's leaving for the better weather. So, and he just never seems to ask me to come with him and get me out of here.
You never know what you might see. Daryl may go live at a certain event. You just never know what you might run into. You just never know.
So it'll be me and Ramon more than likely this Sunday. If Ramon's not with me, you
may have to call Reggie.
I may have to call Reggie. May have another guest in mind. We will definitely have some interviews coming up, hopefully as well. Sure. But overall, Daryl, I'm excited about the tail end of the NBA season. It'll be a good one. We're not talking about the All-Star game whatsoever. Yeah. But what we are aiming for is to get some interviews. We're going to try to get some of our reoccurring guests. Matt Taylor from the Colts is definitely one that I'm going to try to nail down here in the coming weeks. Alex Gordon, we had him on a couple months ago, or Alex Golden, my apologies. We're going to try to get him on. We're going to try to get a couple people from the Pacers on as well. So we're going to be working on getting some interviews for you guys, and maybe even some teams, even some people in the NBA that we haven't had yet. All right. So
you
we'll have
never
to see
know.
what happens. Two of those, I've actually met a second broadcaster, Daryl, that his team just made a big trade over the deadline. So
yeah.
it's not who you think. It's a new one.
Oh, it's a different one?
It's a new one. It's a second one.
Oh,
it's a second one.
Okay.
My only hint is that it is in the West, just like the first one.
Okay.
And it's funny enough, they were both a part of the same trade.
Nice teaser. Nice teaser. Hey, listen, folks, we got a lot of good stuff. Come on, keep on watching, keep on subscribing. And well, you can't keep on subscribing, but keep watching. Tell everybody
have other people subscribe. Yeah.
Yes. Get them out there.
And go watch my after hour episodes. I got 3 out this week. I was on go since we couldn't do any live shows. I was getting them out to make sure we had something to cover it.
Get in that algorithm. That way you can get those alerts, and that way you don't have to be prompted by us sending out text messages and emails.
Hit the bell. The bell gives you notifications for when we post as well on YouTube. So hit the little bell icon also on YouTube. But Daryl, I think that's going to do it. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
You going to hang out with me at Bigsy's this weekend before I head out Sunday?
I got to work.
Well, I guess I'll do it by myself then.
I gotta work. Otherwise, I would. I totally would. I you know what? I was actually gonna text you and I was gonna say sometime, maybe in like the weekday.
When I get back. We
need to either go to Outback or we need to go to Bigsy's. One of the two.
Or both.
Because Outback is actually where I first met you.
Yeah, I know, right?
But we didn't seriously start talking and everything else until I went to the Pacer game with you and Darren. It was like one of the last games of the year a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So a lot good stuff, man. I'll keep you posted on that for sure, and we'll keep in contact for sure.
Yeah, indeed. All right, folks, that is going to do it. Thank you to Reggie and Eli for being in the YouTube chat and interacting with us. But folks, that is going to do it. We will see you guys for another episode of Game Time Live on Sunday. We'll see you then. You've been watching Game Time Live presented by the Game Time Network. See you guys then.